How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the further sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, to the lowest depths of the pit. Those who see you will gaze at you and consider you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world as a wilderness and destroys its cities, and did not open the house of the prisoners? All the kings of the nations, all of them, sleep in glory, everyone in his own house, but you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, like the garment of those who are slain. God rising, welcome. This is Chemistry Realignment, and you are now on Sankofa's time. Peace to the gods, and God is up. This is African origins of Freemasonry. The pyramids of Egypt and the codes of Medes or Napoleon, all will pass away and be forgotten. Without altars or temples in groves and high places, after a certain number of years in Persia came temples and idols, with all their abuses, and these in their turn were changed or abolished, and the worship of the sun restored, or perhaps the worship of the sun only as emblem of the Creator. King Solomon, King Hiram, King of Tyre, and Hiram Abiff, the manifestation of the ancient order in Jerusalem. Ashe. The greatest one of the teaching of ancient, free, and accepted Masonry is that of the Blue Lodge, first 3 degree of Masonry. The Blue Lodge is the basis of the Masonic order. The knowledge of all 33 degrees is supported by the first 3 degrees. You cannot receive higher degrees of Masonry without receiving the first 3 degrees. If an individual becomes inactive in the Blue Lodge, his membership in other bodies of Masonry becomes inactive. The Blue Lodge contains the basic principles of the order. The higher degrees are a further explanation of the first 3 degrees. It is advancement in the knowledge of the aspects of Freemasonry, not explained in the first 3 degrees. Some have called the higher degrees of York and Scottish Rite the College of Masonic Order. The knowledge of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry is based upon events that occurred during the building of King Solomon's temple. King Solomon was commanded by the Most High God Yahweh to build a temple dedicated to the Creator of all things. The temple is the central focus of Masonry, and every Freemason honors that venerable institution when it was deposited in Jerusalem. Israel and Mount Moriah. What does the temple in Jerusalem have to do with the African origin of Freemasonry? What do Jews/Hebrews have to do with Freemasonry and its African origins? Aren't the Jews/Hebrews white people? These are very touchy subjects and not easy to answer. We will attempt to answer these questions in the reverse order in which the question was asked. Originally, the Hebrews of the Old and New Testament were of African descent. Abraham, the father of the Hebrew nation, was a citizen of Ur of the Chaldees, which was a Hamitic civilization. As every Bible student knows, Ham or Ham is the biblical father of the African and African Asiatic civilizations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Cush represents Ethiopia, Mizraim represents Egypt, Put or Foot represents Somalia and Libya, and Canaan represents Palestine or present-day Israel. Even though Abraham was a Semitic or Shemite, a descendant of Shem, he dwelled in African lands all of his life. All throughout history, Shemites and Hamites dwelled together and intermarried. Remember, when Abraham left his land, he was known as the Chaldean, which are a Hamitic people. Even though Abraham's father was an African Shemite, it is a possibility that his mother was a Hamite, native Chaldean. J.A. Rogers dealt with the African history of the Jews in the chapter 9 of his phenomenal work, Sex and Race. Rogers, 1968, states that the Caucasian painters falsely painted the ancient biblical Hebrew as white. Rogers also refuted the ideal of the Ham curse, the curse which stated that Ham was turned black or dark because of a curse put on him by his father. If the Hebrews were originally non-Africans, they could not stay in this state after 4 centuries of living in the Negroid civilization of ancient Egypt. Rogers, 1968. Remember, the Hebrews went down into Egypt, and 600,000 men, probably millions of women and children, left to return to Canaan. In Ethiopia and Israel, there exists a very ancient Hebraic tribe called the Phalasha. The Phalashas are white Israel's greatest secret, at least until recent times. They pretended to help these Africans, ancient Hebrews, but the real desire was to snuff out their ancient traditions. They make the Phalashas convert to modern Judaism in order to get to Israel. We call that blacked out through whitewash. This is done to establish the Caucasians' Jewish religion as the official authority of Judaism. Many African Americans do not know that even in our modern times that there are many communities of black